Hi, this is Adam Huxama from ProjectionHub.com. For entrepreneurs trying to create a set of financial projections for the bank or potential investors, the cost of goods sold section can be one of the trickiest sections to get right. In this video, I'm hoping to help you understand what cost of goods sold actually is, and then how to accurately project COGS for your financial projections. I want to quickly outline what I'm going to be discussing in this short video. I'm going to start by defining cost of goods sold. Then I'm going to outline what type of expenses should be considered as cost of goods sold and what type of expenses should not be. Then finally, I will provide an example of COGS for both a product and a service business. Cost of goods sold, also known as COGS, is defined by Investopedia.com as the direct costs attributable to the production of the goods sold by a company. Now, this amount includes the cost of the materials used in creating the product, along with the direct labor costs. So you might be wondering about a service business, like, for instance, maybe a tree trimming business. Do they have cost of goods sold? By the definition of COGS, probably not, but they do have variable labor costs that are directly associated with providing a service. It's very similar to COGS, and we're going to take a look at that in more detail in just a minute. Now let's look at an example product business. Let's say your company sells water bottles. Now, the cost of goods sold would include the raw materials that it takes to produce the water bottle. So we'd have, of course, water, plastic, and then ink for the label. That would be your raw materials. Then we'd add in the direct labor that's attributed to producing the water bottles. Now, when you think about direct labor, you basically need to ask yourself, what labor expenses would you not have if you did not get an order? So if you had no orders this month, you wouldn't have anyone on the manufacturing line producing products because you have no one to sell them to. So those people on the line, their wages would be considered direct labor. Now, you'd still have a number of other expenses whether you got an order or not, right? You'd still have rent. You still have to pay your phone bill. You'd have a secretary's salary. You'd have utility bills. And that's just a few of what we call general, selling, and administrative expenses. Now, again, by the strict definition, only product-based businesses would have cost of goods sold. But now I want to look at how a service-based business still has similar variable expenses. So again, let's say you own a tree service business. Even though you don't have cost of goods sold, you do have expenses that are directly attributable to a job. Let's say you get a huge tree removal contract. It's maybe 100 miles away. And first, you might have to rent some special equipment that you wouldn't rent otherwise, simply because the number of trees that you're removing is so large. So that would be a variable expense. You might also have to hire some hourly workers to help you complete the job. Now, these workers, they're not salaried, so you only incur the expense if you get the job. Again, this is a variable expense, very similar to cost of goods sold. And then lastly, you wouldn't drive 100 miles away if you didn't get the job, right? So your fuel costs would also be considered variable costs. Hopefully this helps clarify some of the questions you probably have about cost of goods sold and variable expenses as you create financial projections for your business. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me. I'm usually pretty accessible by email. You can email me at adam@projectionhub.com. Thanks.